It was a blistering afternoon in a quiet southern town, the kind where time moved slow and pride moved fast. The gas station sat under the burning sun, its old sign flickering against the heat. Marcus Reed pulled in, stepping out of his pickup with the calm ease of a man who had nothing to prove. Dressed in a plain t-shirt and jeans, his steady walk carried a quiet authority, but to anyone watching, he looked like just another man stopping for a drink. What they didn't know was that Marcus had once commanded entire battalions. He was a Marine general, battle-hardened, decorated, and humble. But that day, humility would be mistaken for weakness. As Marcus made his way toward the store, the sound of engines shattered the silence. A group of bikers rolled in, loud and reckless, their laughter echoing through the air. Their leader, tall, pale, and mean-eyed behind black sunglasses, spotted Marcus and smirked. "Well, look what we got here," he sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "You lost, boy. This ain't your kind of stop." Marcus kept walking, ignoring him, but the biker stepped in front of the door, blocking his path. The air grew thick with tension. "I said, you lost," the man repeated, his breath heavy with beer and arrogance. "No, sir," Marcus said calmly. "Just stopping for fuel and water." The calmness irritated him even more. He shoved Marcus with his chest. "Oh, he's polite. Says sir, like he's somebody." The other bikers cackled. Marcus's jaw tightened, but he didn't move. Years of discipline had taught him restraint. The leader leaned close, voice low. "You don't belong here, boy. You never will." When the biker grabbed his arm, everything changed. Marcus's eyes sharpened, no longer calm, but commanding. His voice was low, steady, dangerous. "Take your hand off me." The biker laughed. "And what if I don't, old man?" Marcus leaned in, his tone shifting into something primal. "Then you'll regret it." The biker shoved him hard, and the crowd laughed again, but the laughter died fast. Marcus's hand shot out, twisting the biker's wrist with swift, effortless precision. In one move, the man dropped to his knees, gasping in pain. The other bikers froze. Marcus's voice thundered, deep and powerful. "Enough." Silence fell. The clerk at the door trembled. Even the wind seemed to stop. The biker stared up at him, eyes wide. Who are you?" Marcus straightened, his expression carved from stone. "I am Marcus Reed. United States Marine General. I've led men braver than you into battles you couldn't survive, and I don't take kindly to bullies." The gang fell silent. The leader stumbled to his feet, his arrogance gone, replaced by shame. Marcus looked him dead in the eye. "You wanted to teach me my place. Let me teach you yours." He turned back to the store clerk. "May I please get my water now, sir?" The clerk nodded quickly and disappeared inside. The bystanders, who had been watching from across the street, began to whisper, "That's General Reed, a real war hero." Marcus walked calmly back to his truck. But as he opened the door, the biker tried to recover his pride. "This ain't over, old man." Marcus paused, his back still turned. "Son," he said quietly, "I've been through hell and back. You don't scare me. But think real hard about your next move. Because when you come after me, you come after everything I stand for." The words hung heavy in the air. The bikers lowered their heads, shame burning in their faces. Marcus climbed into his truck and drove away, leaving nothing but silence behind. But peace doesn't last long for men like him. As the highway stretched out before him, he noticed it, a black sedan trailing in his mirror. Not a biker. Not a local. Its windows were tinted, its movements deliberate. Marcus's instincts flared. He'd seen that kind of tale before. He reached for his phone, a message had just arrived from an unknown number. It read, "General Reed. You've made enemies today. Careful where you stand next." Marcus's grip tightened on the wheel. His heartbeat stayed steady, but his eyes hardened. Whatever this was, it wasn't over. Not by a long shot. He whispered under his breath, voice steady as steel. So it begins again. The night settled over the small southern town like a heavy cloak. Cicadas sang in the darkness, unaware that war was coming. Marcus Reed sat in his living room, the faint hum of the ceiling fan whispering above him. On the coffee table sat his service pistol, polished, loaded, untouched for years. The black sedan from earlier still haunted his thoughts. That message wasn't a bluff. Someone had declared war on him, and he knew exactly who. Carver. The name alone was a ghost from the battlefield, a soldier once under Marcus's command, discharged for disobedience and treachery. A man who had cost good Marines their lives. Marcus had testified against him, ending his career. Now, Carver had returned, hiding behind his biker gang and whatever dark allies he'd gathered. Marcus's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was a video. The screen showed flames, his neighbor Mrs. Ellis's mailbox on fire, her trembling voice faint in the background. Then came a text overlay, "Next time, it'll be your house, General." Marcus stood slowly, his expression carved with resolve. He walked to a small box under his bed and opened it. Inside were medals, photos, and a folded American flag. He touched each one gently before setting them aside. Then, beneath the box, he pulled out a compact radio and an old dog tag marked Reed, M.A., USMC. He muttered, "Time to remind them who they're dealing with." By dawn, the air was thick with tension. The roar of motorcycles echoed down his street. Marcus stepped outside, calm as ever, dressed in his old field jacket. His truck was parked across the yard, engine running. From the distance, dust rose as nearly a dozen bikers pulled in, leather, chains, and arrogance, led by Carver himself. The ex-soldier stepped off his bike, eyes cold as steel. "You really thought you could embarrass me and walk away," he said. "This town's mine now." Marcus didn't flinch. "You were a disgrace then, and you're worse now." Carver smirked. "Still preaching. You don't get it, General. Out here, there's no rank. Just power." "Then let's see who still remembers how to command," Marcus said softly. Before Carver could answer, a convoy of black SUVs rolled into view. The bikers spun around, startled. The doors swung open, and out stepped three men in dark tactical gear, carrying military ID tags. One of them, Sergeant Lewis, Marcus's old comrade, barked, "Iron Talons, you're under federal investigation for racketeering and arson. Drop your weapons." The bikers froze, confused. Carver's eyes widened in disbelief. "You called them," he hissed. Marcus's voice was calm. "You brought this on yourself. You've been on the radar for months, I just gave them your location." The bikers panicked, but Carver drew his gun, pointing it at Marcus. "You don't get to take this from me." A single gunshot cracked the air, but it wasn't Marcus who fired. Lewis's sniper team had been watching from the ridge. The bullet hit Carver's hand, sending his weapon spinning into the dirt. He screamed, clutching his arm. Marcus walked closer, his shadow stretching across the ground. "You should have stayed buried, Carver. You lost your honor long before you lost your rank." Carver glared, trembling. "You think this changes anything? You think your little badge of glory protects you?" Marcus leaned in, voice steady as thunder. "No. But it protects the people you tried to hurt. And that's enough for me." The bikers were cuffed and loaded into the SUVs, their rebellion silenced. Carver, bleeding and defeated, was dragged away. But as he passed Marcus, he whispered with venom, "You think this is over? You think you've won? There are others, General. You just lit a bigger fire." Marcus didn't respond. He watched the vehicles disappear down the road, sirens fading into the morning air. Then he turned toward his porch, where Mrs. Ellis stood clutching her robe, tears in her eyes. "Is it over?" she asked softly. Marcus looked toward the horizon, the rising sun glinting off his truck's hood, the world quiet again. "For now," he said. "But peace doesn't come easy. You have to defend it, every single day." She nodded, her voice trembling. "You saved this town, Marcus." He gave a faint smile. "No, ma'am. Just reminded it what courage looks like." As she turned to leave, Marcus's phone buzzed one last time. He frowned and opened it. A new message appeared. No sender. No name. It read, "Nice work, General. But Carver wasn't acting alone. We've been watching you, too." Marcus's eyes narrowed as he looked up at the distant hills. The faint shimmer of sunlight reflected off a black scope, watching him. He whispered under his breath, "So it begins again."